Today, I want to talk about Outriders Endgame, what it is, what it could have been, and why isn't it better? On Wednesday, 14th of September 2022, Babylon woke up early, filled the car with expensive dinosaur juice, then travelled down to London, and we met this guy. Sorry, no, not this sausage. What I meant was this guy here, Toby, or the Arkan from SquareEnix. So here we are then. We're in
We are,
London.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we here to see?
Me.
Me.
And you.
And me.
Mm-hmm.
And the Arkan,
the
or
Arkan.
Toby.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting. We're meeting for lunch now. Just waiting for him to show up. We're quite early. We're very early.
We're very early.
We gave it plenty of time. And then we're off to see the SquareEnix offices.
Damn right we are.
So,
Cool.
exciting.
Place.
It'll be great. So we sat down together, had a wonderful meal. We chatted about our lives, our backgrounds, whether or not we like to go on long walks along the beach or sit down and blow some fools up in video games. And then we went on a tour around the Square Enix office. Got to see some cool awards, some statues, and yes, that giant hot dog. So, after our tour of the office, we sat down, we had a little chat, and we learned a few things about the gaming industry, and more importantly, a few answers to some questions you may have about Worldslayer, like why isn't there something better than Taria Gratar? So the current endgame that we have in Worldslayer, a lot of people aren't too happy with that. They wanted something that's less grindy, something that's more fun. So why don't we have that currently? Well, we need to talk about a little thing called feature leak, which is something that we learnt about whilst we were over at SquareEnix. And so what is feature leak? Well, so it's basically the process of, how about if we add this feature in? How about we add that one in too? How about we add these ones? Which all adds up to obviously extra development time. So you may have, so if you think about the initial idea of Outriders, for example, we were told whilst we're over in SquareEnix that initially every class had a healing ability and a grenade ability. Which would have used up one slot on each of the class's abilities. So you got 3 slots as it is at the minute. So the healing would have taken up one of those. If you wanted the grenade, it would have taken up one of those as well. So keeping that in would have sort of locked down the playstyles heavily because you'd have to have that healing. Let's be honest with the amount of damage that you take in Outriders, you'd have had to have kept that in. So keeping those in as they were would have took X amount of time to complete the game, the development of the game. So let's say, for example, let's call it 12 months for ease. A decision was then made to remove the healing skills from each of the class and instead have the heal on kill or heal on damage, depending on the class that you're playing as. So you can have obviously the heal on close range kill as well. So adding this in required extra time, obviously, to code that in. That's not something that was just click of the fingers and it was in. So adding that for each class would mean a few months of development for each one, for example. Then another idea comes in. That adds on another couple of months onto development. Another idea comes in, even more time. So a 12-month project then becomes more like 18 months, 2 years. Obviously, all depending on how much additional content or how much changes they're adding into the game. So if we look back at Worldslayer, what does that mean? What happened with this? Why did we get Taria Gratar? What could there have been as well? So we were told that in fact there were ideas better than Taria Gratar, which would have increased the longevity of the game without having to have such a huge grind. Different sort of maybe different game modes or something. But why don't we see those? Why haven't they been implemented? Well, the problem is the idea of Taria Gratar came first. So they decided on doing what we see today. They decided that would be the first. That would be what we had. They then had those ideas at a later date, and we don't know when Terraguitar or when the development of Worldslayer first started exactly. But we can take a guess that this was sort of pre-New Horizon. So during the Ambassador playtest, we actually were made aware that there was something special going to be announced when it was announced to the public. So what we were seeing was not everything that was in development, which says to me that Worldslayer may have been in development maybe a couple of months after Outriders was launched, possibly even before New Horizon was even considered. Obviously, New Horizon brought all the quality of life updates, but whether that possibly came after the start of the development of Worldslayer, we're not sure exactly, but what we do know is that Terraguitar was the first idea that was in before any of these future or later ideas came in. So if it took that long for the development of Worldslayer anyway, of what we see today, if they had made the changes that they wanted to improve it, then the Worldslayer development would have taken a lot longer. So we probably wouldn't even have Worldslayer today. And a lot of people complain about the player base currently. I feel like the numbers would have been a lot lower now had we not had the updates recently versus releasing the release they got the numbers that they got. I think it was up to a peak of 14 or 15,000 on Steam alone. That's obviously the highest concurrent players. That doesn't include returning players, so you'll have players that maybe play for half an hour per day. Let's say we're at 1,000 players highest concurrence now. That doesn't mean that 1,000 players have played that day. It could be 10,000, it could be 100,000. You don't know. It's just that they haven't all played at the same time. So we wouldn't have, or I don't believe we would have Worldslayer today had they have implemented the ideas and gone in a different direction. So what does that mean, I guess, for the future of those ideas, for the future of Outriders? Well, we don't actually know what's coming next. But obviously they've had these ideas, so you would probably assume they would implement those ideas in a future update of Outriders, or maybe even continue, use them in the development of, dare I say it, Outriders 2. So they have had these ideas. The development time obviously didn't really allow for those ideas to come in with Worldslayer. So hopefully we'll see something in the future with Outriders, or like I say, potentially an Outriders 2. But which one would you prefer? Would you prefer to see Outriders get a new update, most likely again following the paid-for route, or would you prefer to see Outriders 2 with these features for maybe the end game for that? Obviously, we don't know what those features are, but whether you'd want to see that further developed into a better end game for Outriders 2 or something probably sooner in an Outriders 1. Let us know in the comments, let us know your thoughts, and thanks for watching.